Hmm.
You all set? Okay. 5:30, go ahead and call the roll for the Plan Commission.
Benjamin,
Here.
Klibowitz,
Here.
Kasdorf,
Here,
Morin,
Here.
Endries.
Here.
anyone desiring to be heard? None. Consideration of minutes from October 17th, 2023.
I'm gonna make a motion to accept the minutes as October 17th.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. New business, discussion and possible action on ordinance 24-03 to amend section 54-723C of the Butler Municipal Code regarding public hearings for variances.
And Paul, actually, I sent out on Monday an amended agenda that had the public hearings that we need to have for these two ordinances.
Yeah, you did.
Excuse me.
Hold on. Got it. Okay. All right. So now I'm working off the agenda, the amended agenda. We've already done the consideration of minutes, and here we go. Public hearings. Ordinance 24-03 to amend section 54-723C of the Butler Municipal Code regarding public hearings for variances. We will open this at 5:31. Is there anyone that wants to be heard on that? Nobody. We will close that one at 5:31. And we're going to open for ordinance 24-04 to amend section 54-64 of the Butler Municipal Code regarding the official zoning map of the Village of Butler. Is there anyone that would like to be heard on that?
Is this map, what we have here, changing over to governmental and institutional zoning?
That is not in front of the Plan Commission tonight.
Okay. I'm looking at the wrong stuff. Sure.
No one wants to be heard on that, and we'll close that at 5:32 p.m. New business, discussion and possible action on ordinance 24-03 to amend section 54-723C of the Butler Municipal Code regarding public hearings for variances.
So both of these ordinances in front of you tonight are dealing with notification of surrounding properties when it comes to various zoning and building events. So right now, if you have a conditional use permit, you get a letter sent to 300 feet to all the property owners within 300 feet of your business if you apply for a conditional use. We do not have that currently with our variances and for our rezonings. So if anybody applies for a variance, nobody around them gets notified unless you go to the village website or check the posting locations. I want to try to fix that because I think that it is a very important thing to let people know that, hey, my neighbor is applying to have a garage that is 5 feet above what our zoning code says, or the business or the property next to me is getting rezoned for XYZ purpose, going from a residential to a commercial or a commercial to an industrial. I think that it's important to let the surrounding neighbors know what's going on with that. The state statute does not require that. However, a lot of municipalities do have those types of ordinances in place. So then neighbors don't get caught off guard when certain things happen within their neighborhoods. So that's kind of what both of these ordinances are in front of you tonight.
So what exactly are you saying, that within 300 feet, these people have to be notified?
Correct. They would get a letter in the mail that would basically have the public hearing notice in it. And, they would open it up, they would read it, say, okay, Joe Schmo at 123 Main Street is applying for a variance for this reason. And then that they would be made aware of it more directly than having to go to the Village of Butler website or check the posting locations, because it's not always a super convenient thing for people to do if they're just kind of going about their daily lives. This would give them a piece of mail that they would be able to open, look at, and be directed towards them.
And who's paying for all the information? The village?
The village would be paying for the postage and would be paying for, the paper.
Okay.
How did we come up with the 300 feet? Is that from all directions of the
Of the
Of the-
variation?
place?
Of the property. So where the outside boundaries, as the ordinance states, the outside boundaries of
I think,
the parcel, it would be 300 feet beyond that. So wherever the boundaries are of that lot, it would be 300 feet beyond
but
that.
the 300 feet has been almost a standard amount
Correct.
of distance.
Yeah.
For literally forever,
For us?
for us. Yeah, for any information coming down the pike, we had to have information for 300 feet. So if somebody's gonna do something drastic, it was put out there, but not in this form. It was put out there on the village website or pasted up on the
Hmm.
bulletin board outside the door. It was there, but it's always been 300 feet.
I don't think we've had a variance in a very long time
Well,
in the village.
The last one we had was last year with Mark Holdman's shed.
yes,
That, if I can speak with it, so like, I applied for variance for my garden shed, so, and with this updated code, then my neighbor would have gotten a letter. Letting them know that I was
Correct.
applying for it. To make that simple.
Correct.
Everybody's aware and not left up, because they don't fall through cracks, I mean, people aren't, don't watch the website and look at the bulletin boards.
yeah, I was gonna say, it was on the bulletin board, so.
So that's all this is.
Correct.
That's all this is doing, letting people know of changes to the code, the variances that are being applied.
Correct.
So no one's off.
Correct.
But in 300 feet, then you're getting, in your case, it'd be the properties behind you and over on Lancaster or, my block. So, no, it'd be 300 feet. That's a couple houses worth, including the backyard. So 300 seems like a lot to me because it's going beyond
The neighbors,
the
But
scope
that's what
of
it's
what,
been.
of what it,
but that's what's been,
Depends on the lot sizes.
well, yeah, there's,
The neighbors would be included if it was 126.
well, we've never had it in writing of 300.
go back in the codes, yes, we did, it's in there, I guarantee it, go back in the codes.
And the conditional use permit is 300 feet.
Said it always had to be posted out front. I
Correct.
remember that.
So the bold section has not, that's what you want to add to the,
Correct. And the ordinance can be amended to reduce the feet if the plan commission so recommends to the board.
300. To me, just 300. I mean, it's a lot more internal processing for additional letters to go out, mailings to go out.
But it's information for the neighbors, and if somebody's got a gripe, I'd rather have them up front know about it than have them come to the meeting later and said, hey, you never told me about it. Well, it was posted, but that doesn't always work,
Well, I know they don't show up anyways.
Well, you never know who's gonna walk through that door with what's.
And
with guns flaring.
it's really not that much work internally. The Waukesha County website allows us to do a quick outline of the parcel, and then it shoots it out 300 feet and compiles a list, and we can do a mail merge from the Excel document. It's very simple. It takes maybe 5 minutes to do that, and you just print out the labels, stick them on, print out 10 copies of the public hearing notice, and send it out.
I was gonna say, technically, it doesn't take any longer for 300 feet than it does for 150 feet. It's
The
just
process
basic.
is the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Correct. It
Pretty rare.
very rarely would happen.
Okay.
But again, I would even argue that that's more of an advocation for why we need it, because if it doesn't happen very often.
Okay. Any more questions?
With that, I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance 2403 as written.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Discussion and possible action on ordinance 24-04 to amend section 54-64 of the Butler Municipal Code regarding the official zoning map of the Village of Butler.
Same, basically just adding a second paragraph in the ordinance with regards to the zoning map. Any changes to the zoning map would result in a 300-foot notice being sent out to the properties, stating that this parcel is being rezoned. Here's the public hearing date. Come and express your approval or disapproval of the rezoning.
When looking ahead, if we do if we get that new title of institutional, would that mean every property in that area would have to be notified?
Correct. Anybody that's going to be rezoned.
So why would we have to, if let's say a park is automatically going to be rezoned to institutional, why would we have to notify anybody?
Well, it would just be a blanket ordinance. It wouldn't matter if it was the park or somebody's house or a business. It would be applied blanket to any type of zoning district.
Okay, on that park idea though, remember, if we rezone that park into something else, then that changes the whole parameters of our, a couple other things in the village that are hinged on the churches and parks. And I'm trying to be very quiet about what I'm saying here, but there's other things that fall into this institution. A particular about, yes.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, if it's gonna be, I'm just trying to think through this, that if we,
I'm thinking we
Do-
use this as the bank. Let's talk the bank. That's a lot safer.
but if is doing this one putting the cart before the horse, because if we go forward eventually down the line with a institutional zoning, that defines what is automatically rezoned: parks, hospitals, schools, churches.
The ordinance itself would create the new zoning district. There would have to be that separate ordinance that would be considered either at the same time or at a future date that would then rezone those properties. So this isn't necessarily putting the cart before the horse, because the ordinance has not been brought forward yet. This is just saying that anything in the future that gets rezoned, you just send a notice out. And again, people get it, they look at it, they say, well, okay, St. Agnes is going to get rezoned to an institutional zoning district. Nothing else is happening with it. So then they just they read it, they say, okay, cool. And then they disregard it. Or if they really feel passionately, they can come and support it. But most of the time they like to be kept in the loop, but then they may just disregard it if it's nothing that they view as being super important.
What exactly, if it is zoned institutional, what kind of difference does that make?
Well, I guess that's not really what we're considering at this time. That's more of a question for when that gets brought up. This is just pertaining to the public hearing notice that would go out to any property owner within 300 feet of a rezoning. So it's not specifically talking about that zoning ordinance, because that isn't under consideration. This is just saying that, do we want to have a requirement that we send a letter to properties within 300 feet of a rezoning, whether it's an institutional rezoning, a commercial rezoning, or a residential? That's what we're talking about here right now.
So we're not talking about rezoning anything, the park or anything right now?
Not right now, no.
It's just the language if we do it, it'll be 300 feet notice.
Yes, correct.
It'd just be a notice that gets sent out in the mail.
So the 300 feet is in our code already?
For the conditional use permit.
Correct.
Just a condition.
And Trustee Benjamin is correct that that's usually a standard used across many municipalities.
Fair enough.
So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance 2404 as written.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Go ahead.
I heard Kevin. Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned 5:44. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back here.
It's a little dirty.